I'll do intro.
All right.
Hey guys, and welcome back. It's the EGF Rivals Series. We've got some great games for you today. Joining me, I actually haven't casted in a long time with you, Sandman, but it is a joy to be back.
Right? I know. I'm excited for some Overwatch today. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I mean, these two teams should be a little bit more than just good, I'd like to think, but, you know, stranger things have happened. We've seen some really, really insane games already today, some stuff that's run extremely long, so that is why we are starting so deep into the day. But now we do finally have the semi-finals between, correct me if I'm wrong, it's between Champlain and RPI, or Champlain? Cornell. Yes, Cornell's made it.
Champlain beat RPI yesterday in a very drawn out but very exciting match. So I'm interested to see if they need that warm up time like they did against RPI, because they weren't, I don't know, like it weren't very good right up front, but they showed that they were able to pull it out in the end. So I wonder if they're going to need a bit of warm up time like yesterday.
Well, we got Nepal as the first map, and this should be a little bit interesting with completely opposite flanking routes starting to be taken, and Pharmacy going to work. They've got just rockets raining down all over the Reinhardt shield, and the flanking Tracer all the way in the backline. Rusin very deep, and they follow it up with the Winston. They're just going absolutely ham with 4 members jumping into the front. A Pharaoh doing his best to ward off these attacks, and the McCree is just not enough to penetrate this Farah and the rest of the defense coming out of this team. Oh, TFK almost got knocked into the pit, and they follow him up as well. A Pharaoh is just insane with this, and Rocker Kill is in the back line now. He's trying his hand, but this Mercy is just healing too much. Rusin cleans him up, but they've cleaned up the rest of their team as well, and it looks like they're going to take an early lead. A Pharaoh's Reinhardt leading that charge.
Yeah, that was actually would have been a very good attack from Champlain there, but I just don't think they quite had the target priority that they needed. And just a very good job by the healers, keeping everybody up, Atypical and Pi, doing their jobs, you know, staying out of the way so they don't die too early. That was just very good.
Anyway, what's Atypical is
Sin
dying very early. Now Max Marie in the thick of it, and he gets knocked into the pit. I think he's going down, and he will. In fact, one more down. Now, oh, they're cleaning up Lucio on the end. Grindel is down, and nobody is down from Cornell. They're just staying alive. Healers, as you said, fantastic work so far.
Yeah, very good positioning from the healers, staying alive, and they are playing a fairly non-standard, because most times on this point you see a very aggressive defense, you know, keep them from coming in too far, but they're holding actually pretty far back, which surprises me a little bit, but it is working out for them so far. The only one up front is the Roadhog. TFHK is the only one up trying to just get an early pick. Yeah,
and he can't really try to pick those 2 tanks, but if this flank works out, it could be big for them. Max Mori trying to lead it in. Rusin has swapped over to the McCree, but it is high noon, and it's not time. 1 kill, 2 kills, 3 kills. Kilroy answers with 1, but this is shortly turning into a bloodbath as Grindel is dropped as well, and it is all onto Rusin, the man alone. He is knocked into his doom.
Kilroy trying to get away, but wasn't quite able to do it. TF was having none of it, hooked him right in.
Man, SSP finished it. I mean, this is a pretty quick point. Like, no answer back. What do you think they have to do to break this Cornell D?
It's kind of a difficult one here, because right now their defense is fairly solid, and there are no major hard counters. The Kilroy is going to go in and take out TF, so that's the Roadhog down. So taking out that big damage and large health pool.
Yeah, and they also got the Reinhardt. This could be good for them. Good boost. Trying to just knock Pi off the point, and they do manage to do so, but Acynical still stopping this cap as long as he can. 99% finally recapped. And they can answer back for a bit. Cornell, though, they have a long time to try and cap again.
Yeah, they have plenty of time to get back, although the ult advantage is going to be slightly in favor of Champlain here. Going to have 5 ults against pretty much just 1. You might be able to build up another one in this next fight, but I can't imagine Champlain's going to be disengaged from this point for very long.
Probably not. I mean,
they should be able to hold off fairly well within the ult economy. They just need to make sure to use them properly. Don't send them all out at once.
Oh, that's a great combo, clearing the area on top of that ultimate nuclear eject. It is just that was a perfect combo by Champlain. They got exactly what they needed out of it.
Yes, that was actually a very good job. I think we're seeing his high noon, I think, was a bit unnecessary, but they do still have 2 ults going into this, and that it does still lean it in their favor, but Spyro has to make sure to kind of stay out of the fray just a little bit to make sure, just in case they lose that fight, that he's able to bring him back.
Hopefully he can, but as it stands, they need to do something quick, because there's a stepping up, and they actually don't bring down anyone except for Grandel. Only 1 member down. Now the Diva second on the point, and they revive, though, Spiro getting 2 back up, and now Max Mori, he just barely gets back in the mech, and they answer back with a very quick kill onto McCree. Great slam onto 2. Earthquake, and TFHK is knocked into the pit. Pi and A Pharaoh, they're doing what they can, but it's just not enough right now, and 83%. This is almost it. I don't know if they can get the last push in.
It is going to be tough. They're going to have to go into this without their one of their tanks, so they're not going to have a Reinhardt going in because they need to be able to touch it, and it looks like SSP is the only one who's going to try, but he's being engaged. I don't know if he's going to be able to touch it in time. Oh, finally.
Well, they both get in, but I don't know if that's enough. TFHK, it did buy him time to get in, but now it's another Reinhardt in the Earthquake. Hey, Pharaoh gets 3 knocked down. Great slam to take out the opposing Ryan, but he is 1 versus 5, 1 man against the world. And the first point is going to go over to a fantastic D. I mean...
Yeah, that was a very good job. They didn't quite get it at first, and they had some trouble getting on, but I think part of it was just as soon as the other team didn't have, was using some ults, to build their own, finally able to get on, especially that early pick on TFHK and that engagement, taking out both tanks. That was really where they were able to get something done. They don't have to worry about the res.
And I mean, Champlain didn't even get their first cap until it was already at 99. That was, a full comeback all the way from the top to the bottom. And I gotta say, I mean, I'm rather impressed with their coordination. They really restrained themselves in some of those ults.
Yeah, I think so far the only one that I think still needs to work on, I noted this yesterday, is Grandel on the Lucio. His sound barriers, I think, are a bit too preemptive, too early, or even too late. So I think that's one thing that could come back to bite him in certain situations, but so far it's working out for him.
I love the May pick. I think it's fantastic on the second point. This inside little sort of hut, if you will, on the... It blocks off so many things. I mean, look at this. They're getting channeled into a tiny corridor, but they're not dropping as fast as they need to, as Cornell does manage to pour through the end of it, but that leaves Champlain with the point, with the first cap, and now comes the retake.
Very nice Maywall there, saving his Ana in that last second from the dangerous Roadhog hook. And Rocker Kill actually going in pretty early, pretty quick with the Dragon Blade. Get only 1 kill, but taking out Spyro is actually a very important pick.
He also got Kilroy on the back of that, so Kilroy, Max Mori, Spyro, I think that's, all the 3 picks that you need. Even if it is a very quick Dragon Blade, that's exactly what you need. You need the momentum swing as early as possible. Right now, though,
they are going to even up the percentage pretty early here, and the ult advantage is going to be in favor of Cornell here with the... You potentially could have the nanoed whole hog coming into this fight after the Maywall goes down.
The Maywall's fantastic. Look at that block, and now TFHK, they have to engage with their front line, but they're just running into the whole hog, and that is a whole hog Roadhog going ham on the Reinhardt as well. They are just porking it up with these massive tanks. Going for Spyro, they managed to knock him down in Grandel. He's a sticky frog sliding on these walls, keeping them away from capping this point for as long as possible. Look how long he's staying alive here. Finally goes down, but yeah, very good stall from him.
Yeah, very good job taking advantage of those Lucio boot the buffs he had in. So he just, it's much harder to hit now with that speed boost after wall riding. So it's much easier for him to stall out the point. Taking advantage of that, doing a very good job.
Oh, good wall. Stops the Reinhardt charge in its tracks, but now they freeze him as well. The Earthquake to layer on top of it. The CC is all perfectly coordinated, and Cornell is getting absolutely wrecked. Champlain going to town on their tanks. For one more, do have Pi back in the point, but even though he's slowed and stopped the whole hog, I just don't think it's going to be enough. TFHK has so many members to deal with, but he's actually gotten boosted as well. He could pull this off. The hook misses, though, and he's still dueling out Fire Uno, looking for that last bit of damage. Fun, bro. That's not too fun when you're dead, and they knock the D.Va off the point as well. This is so well played by the tanks of Cornell. They're finally defending the point, finally taking it into their own hands, and even with that Earthquake combo, it looks like Champlain will get shoved off the objective. One more push should come in from them.
Yeah, see, that's the thing there. They did such a good job, but they weren't quite able to get it, even with a few deaths from Cornell coming in. They had the numbers advantage, but they had the big bodies on the point still, so Champlain wasn't able to get any percentage, they weren't able to turn it in their favor there, even though the battle was in their favor for most of that.
Dragon Blade, Rocker kill. He doesn't actually get CC'd at all. He just killed in the end, and they still got two tanks, TFHK, A Pharaoh, onto Kilroy and Rusin. They have to do some damage. SSP is still pouring out the bullets, and he is managing to make it work. The last shots from that Soldier Ultimate will secure the second point, tie it up 1-1 for Cornell.
Yeah, I think SSP really wanted to kind of make up for the attack visor that he wasn't able to get a lot out of last time. He only got the one pick on Racine the last time he used it, so I think he was trying to make up for it, showing he could get something done, and he did it at the perfect time, able to clean up those last couple kills, allowing them to take a point.
I like the Zarya switch up here. What do you think of this from the Roadhog to the Zarya for TFHK?
I actually am a big fan of it, especially because I didn't see a whole lot of stuff coming out of his Roadhog. He went in for a lot of hooks, didn't land a whole lot of them. Part of that was, in fact, done by the May from Kilroy, which was very well done. But, he is going to be on the Roadhog. I actually would have liked to see the Zarya, just based on, as I said, his Roadhog play. I just don't think wasn't quite up there, wasn't quite doing his job. But maybe he'll be able to get it this round. We'll see.
A Pharaoh already going really deep, kills Rusin on impact, and now Fire Fun Bro drags the Mercy off of the Pharaoh. So Pharaoh, Kilroy, just going to town in these backlines, absolutely doing every bit of damage that he can squeeze out. But for now, it's not enough. They're still controlling the point, still actually got this in their hands. SSP has to turn. They've got to try and blow this Pharaoh up because he is just wreaking havoc with them. TFHK can't land the hook. Does not matter as the Soldier shuts him down.
Yeah, so like I said, it's like I really haven't seen a whole lot of hooks out of TFHK. I saw one near the beginning. He actually did hook in Grindel, but luckily Max Mori knew exactly what was going on, able to protect him with the D.Va Matrix. But that's another thing I think would be good to have a Zarya here would be to take out that D.Va, because that's gonna come back to bite you as Roadhog with the buffs and changes they did with their Matrix.
So what do you think about this pharmacy into the fact that they've been picking Genji? Rocker Kill has been relying on all the people to be ground base. Barrage stopped by the Earthquake, actually. Kilroy loses a huge part of his DPS. They did bring down TFHK, and the health bars are dropping very quickly. Pi almost goes down, heals himself up, and Rusin, Fire Fun Bro, they're actually losing themselves. The eject from D.Va, charged into the wall by A Pharaoh, a heroic feat by him. And they've actually even activated the visor as well. Max Mori and Grindel, the two heroes in the point. Max Mori even has to back off as he leaves the Lucio to his sole fate. That was a pretty good coordinated thing, but, I gotta feel like Kilroy, do you feel like that was a little bit preemptive on the Rocket Barrage?
I think it could have been. I just don't think he expected A Pharaoh to come in with the Earth Shatter, but that's the kind of thing at that point in the game, because it does hit you in the air, which I've always had a little bit of that's always kind of bothered me a little bit, but go into a fight expecting the Earth Shatter, especially if you're going to pop it that low to the ground. But I think it was a bit more of a clearing out ult, try to deal out some damage, but yes, he definitely could hold on to it a little bit better, maybe position himself a bit more in a more advantageous position. But even without ults going in here, it is so far going in favor of Champlain with the trades, but
yeah,
no need for
that last little bit of healing, and the shield actually looks to have done it. Rocker Kill, he can't get into contest, and it will go back over to Champlain, but I'm not sure if it's enough. I mean, it is only like 10% against 99. We have seen the reverse. first point, you know, it was exactly the same situation, but they've looked much different, Cornell, on this map. I mean, Pharaoh has been so consistent, but they got to take down Kilroy. I mean, he's just still wreaking havoc, wreaking damage into these squishies in the backline.
Yeah, and that definitely wasn't the best rocket barrage I've ever seen. The problem there was that he didn't go for Pi, who was right behind him. I think that should have been his #1 target. Take out Pi, take out the healer. But he was more
and
fighting
he's
on
still
the
alive.
Tanks were,
I mean,
so.
He's still doing DPS at this point. This Ana is, you know, really important, and Pharaoh just crouches to die with it. I think he wants to reset.
Yeah, there were some very good trades going on there, and even with the first few deaths going in favor of Cornell, they weren't quite able to set foot on the point to take it back, so they're going to have to restabilize here, but they are going into this fight with a slight ult advantage. Grendel is going to be able to build up a sound barrier pretty quickly here and even it up slightly, but
only got one with the Earth Shatter, and that means that they still do have a lot to contest with. Fire Fun Bro is already down. Mercy, keep an eye on her. She's got Ultimate Spyro looking for that last revive, but they've already popped, as you said, the sound barrier very early. Nobody was taking damage. TFHK now picks off the Lucio, and it's quickly turning bad for the rest of Champlain. They've actually found themselves with so many members down. Spyro trying to drift in, looking for that perfect ultimate, gets 2 of his team members back up, but this should be a cap. I still think it's going to go in favor of Cornell. It's still a little bit contested. Kilroy has the Mercy on his back, has the Brodog in his face, goes down, and they've actually brought back in Max Mori, but the Earth Shatter takes the tanks to Pound Town. Into the wall they go, and Rusin recalls back out of the fight. He is the one man who could stop this, and the Tracer is going to have to delay for forever. It's not going to be enough. Cornell take the second point. Third point. Second, 2-1.
yeah, it was a very good very good job there, going in with a slight ult disadvantage, and the sound barrier could have come out, I think, a little bit later. I think it was a bit more preemptive than anything, just try to get onto the point. So it didn't get a whole lot out of it, but luckily they were able to get some picks and take advantage of the sound barrier from Champlain, which also didn't protect them as much as it should have. So they were able to finally take that point, even at a disadvantage, even down a man or two. We're able to get some of the very important key picks. So very good job. And Kilroy for this map, they aren't going to go with the May, which actually did very well for them last time they were here. They're going to go with the Reaper, which did fairly well, but it was kind of a late switch in that first map, but that is the map that they won. So let's see if it works out for them here.
I mean, the May was so crucial in keeping the team separated on the side of Cornell. Like, if Champlain gives that up, and they have given it up, you know, they really do have to play these fights incredibly smooth in order to get enough damage off, in order to get the same kind of impact out of that. And Double Charge leaves both Reinhardts on the ground, but they've also taken out TFHK. Both tanks now down for Cornell. They've got 4 members to contest with, but none of them are tanks. So watch these guys as they try to contest the Diva. So much health in their way, and the Reaper is actually kind of shoving them back along with the Lucio. Grendel very aggressive on that support pick, and he gets picked off by Rocket Kill for his efforts.
That was actually a very surprising engagement out of Champlain there. I think they should have pushed those last 3 remaining people a lot harder than they did. They had a Diva heal, they had a DPS tank and a healer with them, but eventually they lose Grendel in that engagement. So I think that's putting them on the wrong foot. So Cornell is going to be able to take this point pretty handedly.
Yeah, on the backs of their tank line, on the backs of a Dragon Blade, they do manage to recap, and a pretty early recap at that. So ultimates are almost actually about even. I mean, they blew barely anything besides the Dragon Blade for that one. So we'll see who gets the better of this engagement. I think this is going to set the tone for this 4th point, for this game point. And if Champlain want to way back into this, they're going to need to deal with Rocker Kill, and they just haven't been able to do that. This Genji is going everywhere. Rusin, though, he's already gotten 2, and he is just juiced up, going to town on these guys, already in the point, recapping, and they have nobody into contested. I mean, that was just a boost onto the soldier, and he just killed 3.
Yes, he did get a lot of eliminations there, but they did use a lot of ults to take it. It was pretty even before they would get it. So Cornell's definitely going to have a lot more ults to work with here. It's going to be 4, potentially 5, depending on how well TFHK is able to build up Graviton in this fight.
No, Rocker Kill He's actually been dealt with, but now the visor is back in action for SSP, and he is just dealing out the damage. Rusin, SSP, the soldier duel, but with so many members down, the Reaper ultimate is not going to actually do that much. I didn't think he killed anybody, in fact, and Pharaoh charged the Diva mech back into the wall. Now Kilroy contesting with his Shadow, but he's the only one in range. I don't think it's going to be enough. It should be another cap by Cornell, and now it's their turn to try and hold against the onslaught of Champlain. Fire Fun, bro.
It's definitely going to have to be a clean fight here with Fire Fun, bro, the only one having an ult on the side of Champlain, with TFHK potentially
great shield.
To...
That Zarya shield saved their healer. Acynical actually would have died from that Reinhardt charge if not for the timely Zarya introduction. And Kilroy, what can you do, man? You're 1 versus 4.
Yeah, not a whole lot you can do there, and especially with a Dragon Blade in your face. Yeah, trying to get that early healer pick, and it doesn't work out for you. Basically just powering up that Zarya. Yeah, going in, even with the Earth Shatter from Pharaoh, I think that was the only ult. No, I'm sorry, TFHK was the only one with an ult, but no need to use
has the Gravitron Surge, and Fire Fun Bro has the Earthquake. Now it's just to see whose shield drops first. They do manage a 5-man Earthquake, and oh, this is all but over. Look at that. Cornell just drops to the Earthquake, and Champlain, perfect focus, perfect timing. The instant the Zarya shield drops, so does the hammer, and the Earthquake should seal this map out. Barring some miracle by Cornell, they have so far to travel and so little time to do it. Gravitron Surge still
an
up.
Amazing Earth Shatter for Fire Fun, bro. Timing it just perfectly. As soon as that shield dropped, he popped it. Got 5, I think only a 5-man Earth Shatter, but that is more than enough when you're a Reinhardt going hammer.
Oh, tactical visor on top of the Graviton Surge, on top of the Earthquake, but they are not dropping the members that they need to. Kilroy still behind SSP, still getting healed up, and SSP has so much to deal with in order to take this point back. 2 versus 3, now 1 versus 3. Now it is over. Champlain even it up, and we're going to map point, the one to decide it for this map of the semis.
Yeah, so we're gonna go to round number 5 on Nepal, which I have to imagine is the pit. I can't remember the exact name. Oh, it's not actually. We only saw that one once. I've always been interested in the algorithm that goes into picking these maps, because I would expect it to be the first one, but it's this one twice, almost in a row.
Completely random afterward. Like after all 3 points have been played, theoretically, it's random or pseudo-random. So, I think it should Blizzard's algorithm does work as they say it works, that would be the case. Again, I don't know what it is, so yeah, we are seeing another shrine.
We are having some switch-ups on the side of Champlain. Fire Fun Bro, even after that amazing Earth Shatter, is not going to stick with the Reinhardt. He's going to go on to the Winston. But
he
Kilroy's not going to be
early regression, right?
That's what I'm thinking. They're going pretty dive-heavy with Kilroy on the Zarya, hopefully going to be able to bubble and
Max
build
Mori switched to Genji, actually. He was playing Diva for the longest time.
Yes, I think they decided they need a bit of a switch-up. Try to see if they can make something work, but right now they're really not making anything work. It's pretty much everyone's falling one after the other, with no one really getting anything, having much damage done to them on the side of Cornell. So
yeah, that was TFHK. Finally, he lands a hook, and it mattered quite a bit actually, because it was onto the Genji. So if he can keep landing hooks, I mean, they've got a pretty good shot at this.
Yeah, they do not have a damage-heavy comp on the side of Champlain, so I'm wondering if this is going to work out for them with the comp that they have working. The Zarya Bubble trying to keep the Winston alive, trying to protect Fire Fun Bro, but not able to do it. He melted as soon as everyone turned to him. So they're going to be going into this 5v6.
Yeah, and 5v6 with so many squishy members. I mean, they don't have the Diva, they don't have anything like that. Zarya now the replacement, and it's just not working out for them. Cornell have their number, and they've got the kills to back it up. Not to mention... Oh, that was blocked by the Winston shield. Good timing there, but... Yeah, besides that, I mean, it's just been one-sided affair for this this point.
And here's a switch I'm not at all surprised about. Fire Fun Bro, even sitting at about 60% to a Feral Monkey. He is going to go over to the Reinhardt, and they're going to go back to the what worked. So Max Mori is now going to be back on the D.Va, and Kilroy is going to be on the Reaper. So I think they should be able to make a bit more happen with this, have a bit more protection, and maybe a bit more damage.
And have a lot more chance to survive this, as TFHK is trying desperately to stay alive. He has so little health, now back up to full. They've taken down Pi. That was a big part of the healing. So let's see if they can continue to shred through Cornell. A Pharaoh is actually trapped in the corner, brought down as well. And the DPS are still alive, but for how long? Rocker Kill, he wants to contest. He cannot do so, as SSP, the last man alive, should drop sometime soon. Not sure if he can even trade out 1-for-1. I don't think so. So he will go down shortly. Oh, never mind. Soldier's just still going. Okay. Well, he's alive for now. So SSP is, going to be back into this very quickly. But 86% to 20. Cornell just needs that little bit of extra push, and there's so far to go for Champlain. Great grenade. Look at that. 4 members are damaged.
All right, and the Nano Boost is going to go onto the Reaper. Not able to get a whole lot done, able to take out Rocker Kill, which is a big damage dealer for them. So good job from him, but I think that's the only one he's going to be able to do for himself. But the rest of his team is behind him, taking out everyone else.
And SSP is going to reset as well. That means 1 ultimate, possibly the Reaper Spin Cycle. But, I mean, Reaper Spin Cycle plus an Earth Shatter should be enough to close this out, I think. I mean, 50% now. Looking pretty good. A Pharaoh almost to his own Earth Shatter. And see if this turns into Chile or San Fran, where the Earthquakes land and how much damage they do. Max Mori now trying for the 1v1.
Here's Kilroy trying to be cheeky, but looks like TFK knew exactly what he was trying to do. Almost hooked him in, but the Wraith is just barely able to save his life.
Right now, I mean, it's just tank line versus tank line. Oh, actually slept is that McCree, and they just run over Cornell. The instant the McCree gets slept, they just 5-man dive the remainder of the team and put them to sleep. The Reaper, I mean, that's what happens when you have a spin cycle.
Yeah, especially if you can get it behind the shield just enough to even take out 1, maybe 2. That's usually 92. Enough to do the damage you need. And it's going to be kind of tough. A Pharaoh is going to have to pop his Earth Shatter pretty early here to try to get a quick pick, but they need to take out that shield before you can get that to happen.
And he's down, actually. There's no Earth Shatter to be had. It looks like Cornell are just getting cleaned up. Both tanks are down. DPS is as well. They have to contest the point, but they just can't do it. SSP, the last member alive, Max Mori to help. Oh, but it looks like Cornell. Oh, they've got some Harmony, but Harmony, Tranquility, whatever you want to call it. A Pharaoh needs to get in there quick in order to help out Rocker Kill, in order to help out Pi. And he did manage to do so. Good Earth Shatter. Well, at least it gets somebody. 2 are down. Max Mori out of mech will take down another one. And they have managed to make it back to the point. 99% for the side of Champlain. But this is actually still in time for the rest of Cornell. They brought back in TFHK, and Rusin is the only one defending now. Now it's turned around, completely 180'd, reversal, and capped Cornell. It looked impossible. They made it happen, and it's got to be another attempt. This last-ditch effort. It's coming down to the wire for map number 1.
Yeah, it's really getting very, very close here. And so far, the only one who's going to have an ult inside of Champlain, which actually should benefit them, is the sound barrier. Grendel's going to have that to try to keep them alive a little bit longer, but you're going to have to get onto the point first, try to make something happen.
They do pop the sound barrier very early. Earth Shatter onto 2, both tanks, but the Lucio tries to keep them alive, not able to do so, and it is just getting cleaned up. Pi dashing left, right, center, dropped where he stands. Cynical is trying to kite around the point, and now Rocker Kill is the only one left. He cannot get in as they cap it, and that means this will go map number 1 to Champlain.
Very good job from Champlain there, but it was from both teams. It was just a very good job, especially the Reinhardts. I think both of those takes from Fire Fun Bro was able to help take it with his Earth Shatter, build up 20% in just a few seconds. 5-man Earth Shatter. Very good job. SSP barely getting away, but that could have been a sextuple kill, or sixtuple kill. I'm sorry. But regardless, that was great.
It called the sextuple kill? I thought it was sextuple.
The sextuple, maybe it's sextuple. I have no idea.
We're back. There's some more Overwatch action. If you guys missed us for the minute that we were gone, I'm sorry, but you might have separation anxiety. I'm still Zeta. Joining me is still my good friend, my co-caster, and a man who knows a lot more about Overwatch than myself, Sandman.
Yes. And so we are going to be on Dorado with the match numbers going in favor of Champlain after the first round, taking Nepal. So Cornell is definitely going to try to even it up, make it 1-1. Let's see if they're able to make something happen with this, because yesterday Champlain did have some trouble with the escort maps. They did not have a very good showing against RPI on Watchpoint Gibraltar. So I'm interested to see if Dorado maybe goes a little bit better for them, or if I think escort maps just are a kryptonite for them.
I believe this map is Cornell pick.
Okay.
As far as I know from the pick ban map phase, this should be a Cornell pick, so I think that they've either recognized their own strength or recognized the potential flaws in the play of Champlain. But yeah, as we get on to... I do like escort maps. I think it's really interesting to see, the different ways you can play it out, but very standard standings from Champlain. They are at the exact same spot basically every single team goes to. Thought I'd see something a little bit different. I was hoping for it, at least.
Now, and Dorado, I think, is one of the most standard maps you can see in terms of where you're going to be positioned. Although the May is a little bit surprising for me. You don't see May nearly as often as I think you should, just because this is a great map for May after the point gets around. But they're going for a very, very aggro attack here.
Yeah, and they brought Winston to back it up. TFHK wanted a piece of it, but Rocker Kill's already down the Genji. But they have shoved it off for now. At least that's a good start. Hey, Pharaoh! The Maywall actually blocked his Roadhog's own hook, and Rusin, he wants a piece of this. He has to retreat around the corner, though, as the Widow starts to force him backwards. Getting a pretty good shove off of that first defensive point. I think that the unconventional route taken by Cornell might have paid off.
It has for the moment, but I think their problem here, in my opinion, is the Widow pick, because the Widow... it has trouble finding positions where you can get the picks, unless you go for a flanking route, but it's kind of hard to do that when the rest of your team is dying around you. It's hard to have that room to go in, because they're watching out for that Widow, and for the moment, not able to get a very good position to get anything done. And so far, I don't think I've seen a single elimination from the Widow.
No, not as a direct result. Has lowered a couple people, though, but will that be enough? We will see. Actually, Winston trapped in the doorway by his own teammate. TFHK has to go aggressive now, turning it on, as Max Mori does as well. They have so much to let go. Whole Hog is not actually going to do as much as you would have expected. Only one tank to drop, and now with them running into the backline, hey, Pharaoh, he is just trapped, frozen in place as they hold themselves to a little bit of a higher thing. Pi transcend all he wants, but I don't think it's going to matter as he goes down. That was a rather strong hold, but a lot of ults were blown to do it.
Yeah, they definitely use a lot there with Rocker Kill. He is going to switch to the Soldier, so I think that's part of the reason he went in with the Dragon Blade. But SSP still sticking on the Widow. Oh, tech pause. Okay, so Max Mori, or at least someone on the team, must be having some issues, but... oh, mouse. Okay, so someone's mouse is having some issues, which kind of makes Overwatch a bit difficult.
You don't need a mouse on Genji. No.
Attach like some VR thing to your forehead.
And no. Actually, some fun story. Were you around when people used to play Quake with keyboards? Like just keyboards?
Maybe. I don't know.
That was basically, the mouse wasn't like a popular FPS device until they started getting more accurate. So people were playing with just keyboards, and if you ever look up some Quake VODs, there's just keyboard guys who are absolutely nuts. I mean, these guys are playing an arena shooter, one of the fastest of all time, with keyboards. So it is possible to play without a mouse. You could just play on a keyboard, but you'd obviously have to have a long time practicing in order to do that.
Yeah, I can't imagine people nowadays would be able to get anything done. I know I wouldn't. I would have no idea what I'm doing. I would be pressing buttons, kind of looking left and right, and pretty much flailing my arms as best I could as soon as I die, just because I was frustrated with myself. But
I mean, it's just a D-pad with your right hand, essentially. Like, you're just controlling. You're looking with, your right hand as opposed to the mouse. So, the up arrow's up, the down arrow's down, left arrow and right arrow, left and right, and you just sort of, mangle them in order to get angled directions. It's if you ever want to try that, guys, you can map keyboards to D-pad controls using like a virtual controller, but I wouldn't recommend it unless you really want to get to like silver in Overwatch in like a week.
Oh, I should do that. I do need a Smurf, at least a proper one. I need a proper Smurf, so maybe I'll try that one of these times. Attach a controller and do that instead of the keyboard and mouse. That'd be an interesting way to do it.
I feel like a controller's too easy though, because the controller you actually have like 2 thumbsticks and everything.
Yeah, maybe, but it's way different than the keyboard and mouse. So it's
well, then I'll just
not
use
the worst way to do
use the
it.
controller, and we'll see how far we get.
Yes, I will definitely drop a ways. From my mid diamond position, I could easily drop down to gold in a matter of a couple hours, no problem.
I think I might drop further than that. It's been a long time since I played keyboard only. I mean, when was the last time I played keyboard only? Probably at like a LAN party like 4 years ago or something. Just, it's been forever. I mean, that kind of thing, it comes around so infrequently where you have chances to play games that actually accept that kind of control input. So,
Yeah,
I guess that kind of,
I've seen
shoots
some
in the
weird
foot.
controls out of some Overwatch, especially streamers. There's been at least a couple that have tried weird stuff with like a Nerf bow that's connected to a computer for Hanzo and all that stuff. So I've seen some weird things. Haven't seen the... We close. Okay, so they almost got it, I think. Almost have the mouse working. Just punch it a little bit. It's fine. It's like the like
doesn't
the
everybody
jukebox
just have
from
like
Happy
4
Days.
mice?
Hmm?
Like for all my love of keyboard only gameplay, I have within eyesight 1, 2, 3, 4 mice and a trackball. So I don't know. Maybe maybe not everybody has that sort of thing.
No. Oh, they haven't been for very long. It's been, I don't know what. Yeah, maybe 4 minutes, maybe 3:05, or my time 3:05, 4:05 for Eastern. So yeah, they got a while to pause, but let's kind of look at the comps again, because I'm still very surprised that SSP is sticking on this Widow and ready. All right, so we're ready to go, looks like. But SSP is still sticking on the Widow, but now he can't go into the Soldier, which he was for the last match round. So I'm wondering if that's going to be a switch that comes out fairly soon. Yes,
Zarya.
there it is. And just as I say it, he's going to go over to the Zarya, which is a pick I like, because that's the one. That's going to be my carry hero, I've decided, just to build some SR. But okay, man, you dropped your wall.
You gotta get out of there, man. You can't just trap people in there. It's a little bit inhumane, but get it, inhumane. Anyway, besides my terrible jokes, it's a pretty ice wall. I mean, she did, a really good job keeping them trapped in there for a while.
I think the problem with that there, though, was that Racine was behind the wall on the other side of the wall from the rest of them with the nano visor, so that's something I think they
fine.
could have communicated a little bit better, maybe help cleaned up a little bit quicker, but they did eventually do it, so they don't have too much to complain about, but it just seemed like a little bit of a waste of those 2 very important ults. Ooh.
That's not breaking it down, that's breaking your back. It's actually all on Max Mori. He's landing the hooks, he's making it happen, and even though the Soldier is just pouring damage onto this team, he gets hooked in as well. Max Mori, so important on this Roadhog right now.
Yeah, doing a very good job. Stopping a Lucio ult is... that was just a very good job on his part. I don't even necessarily think it was a read, like he was thinking he was going to do it, but he's just like, I want to take out this guy. And the Mei wall actually almost stopped him. He was right on the edge of that Mei wall, so he almost wasn't able to do it, but luckily he's able to squeeze him around, able to take him out before he could pop a sound barrier.
Last shove into a very big freeze, though, and that means Pharaoh actually gets knocked out of it. SSP starts to aggress, and they've got 3 tanks going to work. Kilroy knocked up, not knocked into the wall, and that means SSP will drop TFHK, the last man alive, and I think he will go down as well. It means that this first map will be only 59 meters in. And that's where they have to get to. That is the goal for Champlain.
Yeah, and that's really not a hard place to get. You just get a couple picks, you're pretty much there. As long as you don't lose too many yourself, you can easily get it there. And it's not looking good for Cornell here with only about 60 meters. That's usually pretty easy to get. I think one thing I think they really could have switched up was SSP's Widow. As I said, he wasn't quite getting a whole lot done by himself, wasn't landing the picks that he needed to land, and he was just kind of a late switch to the Zarya, which I think was a very good pick. Very good pick against that comp, but I think he just came a little late, wasn't able to do anything, couldn't build a Graviton in that little bit of time, and just, I don't know, I think they were not proper, on their proper footing for most of that engage.
Sorry about that, guys. I had to cough my lungs out real quick. And we're back.
Okay, so interesting comp here. Looks like they're going fairly dive heavy, and Racine is going to be on the Widow. I'm wondering if he thinks they're going to have a Widow on defense, because a defensive Widow, I think, works much better than an attack Widow on this map in particular, just based on positioning.
What do you think about this? I'm not sure about the invis. I'm not sure about trying to, kind of back cap them almost. It's, that could work. It's possible, but
I don't know. I think they're trolling us a little bit. I think Spyro's probably going to switch up to something a bit more normal for the comps, but they could stick with it a little bit just to see what they can do, because they have 4 minutes to, barely get it past the arch. So they have quite a bit of wiggle room.
Really interesting, because if you do manage to hack a bunch of stuff, that's just more things they don't have to fall back on, right? More health packs they can't rely on, more times they can't sustain through these. And with the Widow raining down damage, the cart's already moving. It's halfway there. I mean, we're literally 20 seconds in, and they only have to move it another 20 meters. Winston from the backside, fire fun, bro. He's doing what they need to on Winston. TFHK is going to shut him down, though, for now. The payload marches on. They have very little left, but A Pharaoh is trying his best to stop the Pharah as Kilroy goes over the top and Spyro comes in from the backside. They are disrupting this team. They are trying their best to really interrupt all this dive in by Genji. Max Mori has made the switch up as well, and with the Sombra down, he is going to be focused next. They do drop him. Rusin has come actually all the way through on the Widow. Very interesting position from him. He's taken up all the way through the back.
That is actually the position you want your Widow to be in if you're able to get there, just because it splits your focus. Because if you have a Widow that's shooting at you from the back, that's something you have to worry about and, shield for potentially. But if you have your tanks and your shields protecting you from Widow, then you have nothing protecting you from the front where the rest of the Widow's team is at. So very good job.
Rusin went so early. He showed when there was absolutely no pressure on the other side. You talked about splitting, and there was no one to split with. Oh, fire fun, bro. He wants to split their attention. He's going for it. Roadhog versus Winston. I think we've seen how this one plays out, but he dodges the hook for now. And that's a rocket barrage right on top of them. Kilroy might be cleaning this up for his team, and it looks like it could be secured. Only one member left to defend it. Cornell. Could this be the end of it all? I think it is. The escort goes down, and this is it. The match is complete. GGs are in the chat, and I can't believe it. That was so quick. And it's just over. Champlain's done it.
Yeah, that was actually much better. They showed that they were able to get some picks early on. I think A Pharaoh, I'm not sure if he was booped up front or if he just went up by himself, but he was caught up a little bit too far forward. His healers weren't able to get to him, keep him alive quite long enough. Yeah, I think he was going in a bit too heavy right there. That was right there at the end. Kind of just walked up front, and he paid for it. He paid for it with his life, and with the Mercy dying pretty quick without the res, there was almost no hope on that one after you lose your main tank.